guys, welcome to Ike Games. Today we're going to do a Sims 4 starter house build. I put in a family of 3 that gives you $22,500 as you can see. This is going to end up being a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. So, if you want any more children, you would likely have to move. But this is a really great starter house. So, you can see here I'm kind of fiddling with the foundation, trying to get a small porch in there. I was having slight difficulties with the stairs. Trying to pick a door, trying to decide if I want a 2-panel door or a 1-panel, and I do end up going with a 1-panel just because I think it looks a little nicer and, well, it's cheaper. Oh, roofing. I used to be so bad at it. So bad until I watched the Sim Supply, and I got so much better. So, as you can see, I'm putting in a gable roof both sides, just trying to line it up. I realized, holy cow, that is way over the edge. So I needed to fix that. And I knew I needed columns on the front porch because I was just going to look silly without it. And then I was like, oh no, I still have to do a roof over the front porch or that would just be absolutely pretty much pointless. So I'm trying to fiddle with it, and I actually get it quite seamlessly in there, which I'm pretty proud of myself for. I should have changed the color of the roof, but that's okay. I think it goes nicely with the outside that I picked, which is a siding with brick. Not too plain, but not too over the top either. It is a starter home, after all. Oh, the layout. I could not figure out what I wanted to do. At first I was going to do a bedroom right there. It seemed appropriate, and then there was going to be another bedroom and a bathroom in between. And I was like, yeah, I'll just make this bigger. No, I scratched that whole idea. I think I was trying to figure out if I could get 3 bedrooms in here, and I ended up trying to figure it out in my head, and I could not. And so I ended up just scrapping all of that, and you're going to see me go with a different layout here in just a minute. And as you see my cursor moving around frantically, that's me thinking ahead. So I'm just hitting a bunch of undo just to save myself some time. I decided I want to put the bathroom away from the bedrooms so that it is not designated to be someone's like specific bathroom. That way it's just like a common bathroom. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to be the master, and then I decide that one should be the master because I can make it longer. And while it is connected to the bathroom, it doesn't connect through a door. So I'm picking flooring. I usually actually go with more expensive flooring on my other house builds, but I almost always go with wood all over. I feel like it makes the house look bigger, especially in such a small space like this. And I just picked plain carpet for the parents' room. Right here, I think maybe to do something fun in the kids' room, spunky, but I couldn't commit. I'm so neutral. If I could have it my way, my house would be all gray. But I didn't want to do that to these Sims. So I ended up going with a blue, and I just did a pretty much plain white tile in the bathroom. Thought about doing an accent wall in the parents' room, and I ended up not. I ended up going with a very plain grayish bluish wallpaper. Now, the kids' room took me a little while, as you can see, to decide exactly what color I wanted it to be. Did I want wallpaper? Did I want it to be loud pink? Did I want... I didn't know. I did not know what I wanted to do. So I ended up going with like a purple pink or a purple blue gray kind of color just to complement the carpet. And then just a beige brown in the living room, dining room, kitchen area. I feel like that is a color I use a lot, but that's because it's very neutral and goes with almost every floor. I'm putting in windows now just to brighten up the place a little bit. Nothing big. Trying to decide if I want a bay window, if I want to really spend the money, and I end up not doing that. I'm just putting the regular windows throughout the entire house. Now you're going to see me start to furnish here pretty quickly. I go for her room first. I guess it was just the first room I saw. I actually normally do bedrooms first. I find it easier to plan out the space if I do bedrooms first in case I have to make them bigger or smaller or whatever. Now, I did do this room to fit the sim that I have living in this house. So it's girly-ish, not horribly girly, but girly-ish. And right there, I was like fiddling with that desk because I couldn't figure out why it wasn't changing colors. But I guess there's something else on the desk that changes colors to the purple that I have selected. And I'm just kind of trying to find some clutter to put on the desk, make it look lived in. So I go with some books, some nail polish, and her backpack. And you can see I also put a rug down that kind of matches her bed. And I know those aren't proper curtains, but I figured, she's a teenager or a child. And I thought it looked cool. I thought it brought a young vibe to it. And for almost every child's room I do, I always add dirty laundry on the floor just because it seems like that is something that children do a lot. And I gave her a art table because I did make her creative and I wanted her to be able to paint and do that and bring her creativity skill up significantly. And then I realized I forgot a dresser in her room after I put one in the parents' room, so I had to switch her room around just a little bit. And I know you see that plant there, and I'm sure you're thinking, wow, that is super ugly, but don't worry. In the end, I do get rid of it. So you can see that I put just a little bit of decoration on the parents' dresser, just adding some lights because it's just so dark in there. And I know those are ugly, but they do the job. I think that's pretty much all that ends up going in the parents' room, other than some decor like rugs and a painting. I think I leave their room pretty simple. And now I'm going to the bathroom. I decided that I wanted to do countertops in there just because it was the only bathroom. I thought it needed a little more space. And I did the same counters in the kitchen just because, well, for one, I wanted it to match, and two, I happen to like those counters out of the cheapest counter. And I'm putting all the cabinets there. I do take some counters away, obviously, for the fridge and stove, but I hadn't decided exactly where I was going to put them yet. And I went with white for both just to kind of make the space as neutral and clean as possible. And I didn't forget a bin. It's right there. You actually will not see me put dining room chairs in there for a while. I don't know why. I think I'm just deciding my theme around the house before I do that. And I end up going with red so that it stands out. You can see I also put some decor on the wall there, some like spoons and knives and stuff. And then I hop back to the bathroom. I'm such a hopper. I will hop from room to room and never finish one completely. And I actually never noticed this before, but I used to just place a shower and not worry about it. Like I would only worry about the entrance and not the where the shower head was. So, in a lot of my earlier builds that I never filmed, my shower head could have been coming out of nowhere. And I actually watched a video about building, and someone had said, they like to make sure the shower head is against the wall. And ever since then, I had to do it. Now here you can see that I'm messing with the toilet paper. On some walls, for some reason, the toilet paper goes up stupidly high. No matter what I do, I can never seem to bring it down. Not with the move objects cheat using the 9 and 0. I can't do it. That's why I'm paused there. I'm just mashing those buttons down and I cannot get it any lower. So I'm going to end up moving the toilet over there, and I do end up moving the shower and tub. So it kind of gets a total flip, strictly based on the toilet paper placement. I'm hungry. I think I might have some Girl Scout cookies after this. And here I'm placing the very simple boxy couch. It's not really my first choice, but it goes the best and it's cheap. It's very easy to match. And you're going to see for a while that I never add a second couch. And I'm kind of pondering through deciding what dining room chairs I want. And here's where you see I went with red. I really like the pop of color, actually. And I'm about to put a runner down, which I end up moving over one square. Not right now, obviously, but I don't notice until later that it's not really centered with the door, which is kind of silly. And I just added a toy to her dresser, like an octopus or something, and I'm adding some decor in her room, some posters and such, to give it a little more of a lived-in vibe. I always have a hard time deciding on posters. This is where I put something in the parents' room as well. I'm kind of messing with the sizing. I really wanted it right in between those two sizes, but obviously that wasn't possible. So I ended up going with something that pretty much went with the theme of their room. And I'm so sorry that I hop around so much. My brain is just so scattered. And I always like to have a plant by the front door. I don't know why. Like in every single house that I've ever built in The Sims, there's always a plant by the front door. It's puzzling to me why I do that. And I'm just sitting here. Don't know what I'm doing. Oh, this is where I got up to check on my kid. Oh, yes. I'm a mom, so that's going to happen sometimes. And I'm looking in the parents' room right now, and I'm like kind of bored with the end of their bed, just that empty space. So I do end up adding a rug there. And I want to add something to the kitchen. It's kind of plain right there. So I ended up adding that really cool antique picture, and I sized it up, obviously, to make it bigger. And then I'm going to put pots and pans over there because I originally wanted them, and I couldn't fit them, like, under the counters, like, right in between the cabinet and the counters. So I tossed it at first, and then I was like, oh, I could just put them on the side right next to the stove. So here I am trying to find something to put on the wall. I don't like plain walls. I like to have a little something there. I'm going back and forth, thinking. And I don't think I actually end up putting anything else. And I was going to put a chair. You see me put a chair here in just a minute, and it just looks off. It doesn't look right. I hated it. So I ended up selling the chair and I dropping the couch because I felt like that was the best for the room. I don't know what I did right there. And finally, you're going to see me do some work outside. I hate leaving a plane outside. It was at that time I realized I forgot a bin for the outside. Now, something that I like to do is always add hedges to the outside of the house, but that's not what I was going to say. You're going to see in a minute that I actually add dirt around the bottoms of the trees. I feel like that is a very good hint to make them look like they are real, like they belong there, instead of just literally planted on grass. See, doesn't that just look so much better? It, like, changes it 100 times over. And I'm just adding a little walkway there. Don't like walking up on grass into your house. And then I changed the location of the tree, then I realized, oh, I put a dirt spot there, so I was just lazy and put it back. And I wanted a tiny fence around those plants. I couldn't find it. Then I realized it went through the flowers, so I had to move some stuff. But it ended up quite nice. And there you see, I saw that stupid plant and just put a hanging one, which looks much better. Oh man, and then I realized I didn't put curtains up. I'm so bad about that because I never do it. I always forget curtains. So you can see me going around here putting up some curtains. And I actually try and find some that are like a pink or a purple for her room, and I can't in a price range and style that I want. So I just end up going with the same curtains that are all around the house. And that's where I move the runner. And I like slide the toilet over just a little because that makes all the difference. Just little adjustments here and there. You can see me going through the house. That's my Sims that I put in the house, by the way. Alrighty, I'm just fiddling with it here, but that is the starter house for The Sims 4. So thanks for watching. I'll make sure that I drop my origin ID in the description so that you can go ahead and download this house if you'd like. But thanks for watching, and have a great day.